Welcome to Deb's Truth Journey. If this is your first time stopping by our channel, we encourage you to click the subscribe button and become a truth seeker with us. Now, let's get into today's video.
Hi, this is Deborah, and this is Deb's Truth Journey. Since this is Deb's Truth Journey, I figured today, why don't I take you on the journey with me? I have errands to do, and I have some things to say. Since I talk to myself so much at home, I figure, hey, I can talk to you guys on the ride. You know, hopefully this little thing that I have this phone sitting on won't collapse. But come along and ride on a fantastic voyage. I do not own the rights to that song I was just singing, nor can I sing. But that's okay. Now, I'm on my way to, where am I going? Xfinity to turn in a box. But okay, focus. How are you today? This is what I want to talk to you about. I've been doing, as you know from my videos, I'm always doing videos on Black history primarily is what I do. Black people and Black history. And I am 100% convinced, and when I research, I dig, I am 100% convinced that the Bible, particularly the Old Testament, because the Bible as itself as a whole is a European invention, and that Bible just means Biblia, and that means a bunch of books put together. But the Tanakh, which was the Old Testament, that in itself, I am 100% convinced that the Bible is a book about Black people for all people. It was not written to be the Bible as we're taught. And speaking of how we're taught colonized Christianity. Black and white, we are taught colonized Christianity because so much of what we're taught is not even in the Bible. Case in point, do you know the word apple is nowhere in the Bible? Not one place is there a mention of an apple. But we're taught about Adam and Eve and them eating the apple like it was in it. But it's not. It's disobedience is the fruit that they ate of. Another thing is, now this is one that really gets me. I know I kind of went sideways, but that's okay. You need to hear this part too. What really gets me is the most commonly mentioned places in the Bible, Old Testament, Israel, I think they said Judea. No, Judea was a New Testament word. But anyway, that would be Egypt and Ethiopia. Did you know that neither one of those words are in the Bible? In the Old Testament, in the original Old Testament, I should say. Egypt is in the Bible over 700 times. It's nowhere in the original Hebrew. And neither is Ethiopia. Both of those are European words. And they're descriptive words. And both of them are describing the skin color of the people. But what is interesting is what the names they changed to Egypt and Ethiopia are. Ethiopia is, in the Old Testament, it's Cush. Egypt in the Old Testament is Mizraim. Both of those names are names of Ham's children. Ham had 4 children: Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. Now, how is it you didn't change Israel, you didn't change any of the other names, but you changed those 2 names to European words? That's because the prominence of Egypt, particularly Egypt, in the Old Testament is big. But the powers that be does not want that name to be traced back to a Black people. But Egypt is Mizraim. Both of those countries were established by Ham's children. Cush. So every time you're in the Bible and you read Ethiopia, change it in your mind to Cush. When you read Egypt, change it in your mind to Mizraim. And when the people in Egypt, old timers there, from what I read, they still refer to themselves as Mizraim. I forgot how they say the word. But they still acknowledge what the name originally was. These are just some of the things to distract us from the true history. People have gone to a lot of trouble to pull the bullshit on us. But we got to get past that, because we can read. I can read. You can read. Read it and learn differently. So much colonized Christianity. It's not in the Bible. And just because they tell us that, we take these things for granted. And it's not that. That book is about us. It has become a book for everyone. Judaism has always been, Judaism, however, whichever one you want to go with, has always been a very inclusive religion. Anyone can convert. Their arms are open to anyone that wanted to convert to Judaism. But it is a book about Black people, for all people. Another thing, this is something that I recently discovered, like in the last couple of weeks. I did going from the genealogy charts in Genesis 10. I used the concordance to see those names, where they would show up, how many times, where they would show up for all three sons, Japheth, Ham, and Shem. That's the order that they're in the genealogy. And all their ancestors, I traced them back. Do you know that the Europeans, the one we claim this book belongs to, they're not even in the book of Genesis. I take that back. There's one point where there's a reference to the Isles of the Gentile, the king from the Isles of the Gentile, and the story where Abraham was going to war with these three kings. The Isles of the Gentile, that's the key when you're referring to Japheth's descendants, because they were along the coastlines, the Isles. And that's the only time Europeans are mentioned in the book of Genesis. Now, when I looked through the list of all the names and all the concordances and things like that, I think the first place one of those names showed up was in I think it was the book of Ruth or something like that, but it was nowhere in the Pentateuch, the first 5 books. So if this book is about these white people, where the hell are they? Where's Waldo? They are not in the most important one, Genesis. That's where the patriarchs are. They're not there. When you read the genealogies, now this I found very interesting. Just the other day I discovered this and found this very interesting. When they talk about Shem had this son and this son and this son, and then it ends with, these are the sons of Shem and how they were whatever in their lands. I don't have my Bible here, I'm in the car, but you know which one I'm talking about. It says that for Ham and it says that for Shem, but it doesn't say that for Japheth. It says by these were the isles of the Gentiles. It didn't say distributed, but it doesn't say these are the sons of Japheth and yada, yada, yada. It says that for Ham and it says that for Shem. So read it in Genesis 10. It says something different for Japheth. And from what I'm learning, that's because Ham and Shem's descendants from the beginning intertwined, intermingled. There was a lot of them. And Japheth's descendants were off somewhere else along the shores. I used to have a pastor that used to tell us this. Learn how to eat the meat and spit out the bones. Sometimes you will have to put the whole meal on the shelf and come back to it later. Don't be so quick to toss it out. Line it up and see how it fits. Don't be quick to toss it out because it's something different. But rolling back to this point, Japheth is not in Genesis. And you can't support this book and not believe what it says. Read it. Stop taking the traditional things that we're taught and running with them. Because the slave master is not going to teach you the fullness of the word of God, because you wouldn't be a slave if he did that. He's going to teach you slave religion. That is not the white man's Bible. That is that's our history. I don't give a damn what they say. And no, I'm not an anti-Semite. I can't be an anti-Semite because I'm a Semite. But I'm not against them. I'm anti-bullshit. I'm anti-lies. I'm anti-identity theft. And Genesis 9:27 prophesizes that's something. Oh, I'm going to have to split this video up because too many things popping in my mind. I missed it, you. I missed it, you. I used to do my ride-along videos, and I haven't done them in so long. But saying that to say this, that I forgot what I was going to say. So, on that note, I'm going to Xfinity since I'm in this store. Love you, appreciate you, and in all your decisions, decide to win. See you on the next leg of the journey. Bye.
Thank you for riding with me. I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, please like, comment, and share.